If the state of Alabama is everything everybody says it is and such a great place, then why is it the band Alabama hardly ever mentions it? Stick around to find out. So I did some research on the band Alabama. Right? I used ChatGPT to help me out. And I asked it if it could give me the top 50 songs by the band Alabama. And I wanted it ordered 1 through 50 based off of the Billboard rankings. And I gotta say, ChatGPT's a liar, because in the top 50 it gave me 2 songs that didn't exist. So I went back and I rephrased them like, give me the top 55. And then I can cut out the ones that don't exist, right? So I'm still doing this like research by hand myself. What I discovered might actually surprise you, right? Because I always thought that the band Alabama, I remember the one song, My Home's in Alabama. I'm like, oh, they're just singing about the state of Alabama, right? But what I found is in their top 50 songs. Now, by the time you get down to the 50th song, it's like, is this really a hit? It's not anymore, right? It's not their greatest hits. And they're still barely talking about the state of Alabama. The only 2 times I found any time where they mention the state of Alabama by name is in the song My Home's in Alabama and in the song Christmas in Dixie. Now, you might think, well, they just don't mention states. But I'm here to correct you with that. Because out of the top 50 songs, they mention by name a state 20 times. Not to mention they named a bunch of cities and even some other countries. But by states, they named 20 of them. And only 2 times out of the 20, it was the state of Alabama, which supposedly is the greatest thing in their minds. Some of these other states that showed up 2 times might not really surprise you as much, right? We got Georgia and Louisiana and Texas on this list. We got Alabama, because that's the one we're talking about, right? But then we've got California and New York. They have talked about California and New York in their first 50 songs by name just as much as they did their own home state of Alabama. Almost seems like something's up. Here's something even better that I've noticed. They mentioned the state of Tennessee 3 times out of those 20 of the top 50. I think they like Tennessee just as much or more than the state of Alabama. Sure seems like it, because they mentioned Nashville, they mentioned Memphis multiple times. But shoot, they also mentioned Detroit like 1, 2, 3 times. Right? You got Detroit in Changes Coming On, which was released in 1981. You've got Detroit mentioned in Christmas in Dixie. Christmas in Dixie's not, Detroit's not even in the South. That's weird. Then you got Detroit mentioned in 40 Hour Week for a Living. Interestingly enough, that song 40 Hour Week for a Living, last time any state was named by name by Alabama in the top 50. May have been mentioned more, but other top 50 songs, that's the last one. And that was released in 1985. They have not mentioned by name on any of their hits a single song since 1985. I was 2 the last time. I'm almost 40, y'all. Almost 40 years since they've said the name of a state in a song that became one of their hits. That blew my mind. Here's my theories, right? There's a couple things it could be. One, they just don't like their state, right? I think that might be it. I don't know. Could be other things. Number 2, it could be the fact that they just don't mention their state because all these other songs out of these 50 are actually about the state. They just don't mention it because it's home, right? For me, sometimes Maryland is home, sometimes Nebraska is home, depending where I'm standing, because home's a very tricky thing for me. But if I was writing a song about Nebraska, I might not say it by Nebraska. I might say out in my backyard or on my front porch or down in town. Any of those things would still represent Nebraska. So we can take more time and go through and figure out if Alabama was just singing about their hometown. And honestly, maybe that's the reason. Or number 3, maybe there's like some sort of conspiracy in the music industry that you can't name songs or can't name song lyrics after states after 1985. This could go on to, like, I don't know, big tobacco or something. Maybe if there's any journalist out there that want to investigate this, you can leave in your comments what you think the real reason is. It's got to be one of those three things, y'all. It's got to be, right? That's all I got for today. Be good. Hang in there. Catch you later.